Welcome. It is November 13th, Friday the 13th, 2015. I love Friday the 13th. I do. I love when they come around. They're good luck for me, not anybody else. This is the Super Organizer Universe radio show. I am your host, James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer. Yes, the Super Organizer. There aren't any others. There's organizers, and there are organizers that are super, but I am the Super Organizer. LLC. That's right. So it's Friday the 13th, kids. Welcome to the show. I really enjoy these kind of, 13ths. It's a nice number. I feel like it's lucky. And as always, being here at the studio, I am ready to give you a good show today. And as I'm about to do that, of course, I say hello to my engineer, Brian.
Hello.
Good. What was that? Yup. Is that yep?
Yep. Hello.
Hello. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Yep. Thanks for being here.
Yep.
Without him, kids, I couldn't exist. So we're going to go right in, and I'll do my thanks and gratitude like I always do. Because number one, I live in gratitude and thanks that you guys are here today to listen to me, or you're listening to it later, that you come to my show and you're listening to it, whether you're walking down the street or jogging on a treadmill or at home. I appreciate you guys tuning in and giving me a try. My thanks and gratitude right now for this week go to all the publicists that I'm working with for my current bookings on my various shows. That includes this show, my shows on AfterBuzz TV and Black Hollywood Live, my web series. It's just really nice to work with people who are allowing me to bring interesting and talented and diverse people to you all. And I really want to bring just everybody to you guys. So you guys can see the world at large through my eyes and through theirs. So I wanted to say thank you to all of them for working with me and being so kind. I also want to thank Grant Rudder for having me on his podcast, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk. He is so good, and it was fun, and we had a great interview. It was a lot of fun. We did a supersized episode because I'm a super organizer. We had so much to talk about, and we went on for about an hour and over an hour. So it was a really good time, and I really thank him for that. And I wish him all kinds of great things in the future. And I feature him on all my stuff. So if you're wondering who he is, I'll feature him on stuff. I want to thank Scotty Trippin from Generation U Radio. I was on his show before. He just kind of contacted me again saying he wants me back. And we're going to work that out, of course. I get to be the official certified life coach and professional organizer for his group. It's a fun little hip-hop show they do here in L.A. And I had a great time last time. We were comedians. There's like 800 people in the room. But it's like we all have something positive to say. And they're a great group. And Scotty's a great guy. And I believe he's also a veteran. So yesterday, a couple days ago, we have Veterans Day. Shout out to him for that. And then, let's see. I just want to thank radio and podcasting in general. It's where it's at. Radio and podcasting is where it's at. Support it. It's just, I love radio. And in the world of podcasting, which could also be, audio, video, all together. But I love that you can listen to something and learn something or be entertained. It's all about voices. And I love radio. And I'm just so glad to be part of it. And people should support it. Radio is where it's at. Podcasting is where it's at. And also, lastly, but of course not lastly, I want to thank all my engineers, including Brian, who's here today at this show.
I want to apologize for the introduction that I did earlier. I was dealing with something in the studio.
Yes.
Professionalism.
But still, you're an engineer. I couldn't do it alone.
No, and it's nice to be appreciated.
Yes.
We're the people, not just, I was going to say men, but there's women too.
Yes, there are women.
There are a lot of good engineers that are female and
I do. I work with some.
But we're all behind the board, and we thankless job sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it is, yes.
But thank you for appreciating.
Of course.
At least me.
Yes, I appreciate at least you. And all the others. And at AfterBuzz TV and AfterBuzz Media, I work with a lot of them, like Marissa and Alexis and Jonathan and Mark and Steven and Zach. And I mean, there's a bunch of people that do a lot of engineering for us, and they're great. And they do work with us. And sometimes we're sending in pictures at the last minute or changing up the name of a guest or whatever, and they're working it out. So thank you to all engineers. I personally could not do without you guys. So that's my thanks and gratitude for this week. I always encourage everyone, not just every week, but just every day, think about something and live in gratitude for it. Luckily we woke up. So I live in gratitude for that alone. This is Friday 13th. Every year when I do my blogs, I always try to do something, take the 13th and do a spin on it. And make it something related to organization or time management. And so I have a tip today for you guys. And I actually have posted this as today's blog. And some of you have already responded really favorably to it. And I love it. Thank you so much. It's on my Facebook page, The Super Organizer. It's on my Twitter page, The Super O. And actually, I've also posted it on my Twitter page, Black Hope LA. And that's BLAKHOPELA. And so it's out there. And I want you guys to see it, of course. You can go to superorganizeruniverse.com to actually see it. But I'm going to tell you, so Friday 13th tip for today is get rid of 13 things. So there's something. 13, we're just using the day and the number. So I'm giving you, a task, a kind of a challenge, kind of an order. Whether you're at work or at home or in the garage or, shed, whatever. Find 13 things to get rid of. I'm not telling you what to get rid of. I'm not telling you what to do, or it has to be a big thing or a small thing. It could be a paperclip. Hopefully it won't be a paperclip. But it could be some papers that you just had sitting on your desk. It could be a cup that's been sitting there forever. Find 13 things and just get rid of them. It could be an old shirt. Could be, it could be scissors that don't work anymore. Just, find 13 things that you can either recycle, throw away, or give away. Because that's also something, too. Not saying everything has to be old and, thrown out, literally thrown out. But, maybe someone else could use it. Maybe someone else needs it. Or maybe you have something that you could give, that you use that maybe someone else could really use today. So, just give it away. Just get rid of 13 things out of your space, wherever space you're at. I know you can do it. And because it's all about editing your space anyway, so you can live a better, less cluttered life. So that's today's tip. Get rid of 13 things. Now, if you want to, you can let me know what those 13 things are. You can tweet me at Super O. I think you can fit them all in 140 characters. Or you can go on Facebook and write on my page and tell me what you got rid of, if you want to. That's an open-ended task, challenge, order. You can do this any day. But today's 13th, so 13 days. 13 things. So that's good. Okay, now we're going to switch gears. I have titled this show The You Show. It's all about you. All the stuff that I do for you guys on this program is for you. The guests that I bring on, the topics I bring up, the blogs, everything is all for you. Because I believe in you, and I want you to have the best, most organized, time-managed life possible. Say that 5 times fast. I want you guys to have the best life that you want to have, and I want to help you find ways to create that and set up systems. And also, that includes outside the home, when you're looking for jobs, when you're trying to find maybe new employment or work for a certain company, or how you carry yourself. So I give tips and things for you that hopefully could work for you. Everybody's unique, so there's no one size fits all. But hopefully you can gain something or pull something out of what I talk about that could work for you. The first thing I want to talk about, and I title it, take 2. I title it, the wrong one, How to Answer the Question, Tell Me About Yourself. How to answer the question, tell me about yourself. This is something that comes up a lot of times in job interviews, casting calls, meetings, and it's a tricky thing because, usually a lot of interviews and stuff will start out with this question, and it seems really innocent. I put that in quotes. Innocent. It's kind of, you're thinking, well, tell me about yourself. Okay. But you have to answer it we have to really think about what you're going to say. And if you think about it, a lot of people are really unprepared to answer this question. Even when you think you are, you may not be prepared. And in the end, you end up skewing yourself by rambling or recapping your life story, which is too much information. Or even when you think you're doing something correctly and you're sharing too much information and going too far back into your work history. And it's one of those things where sometimes you don't know you're doing it, You think you're okay, but suddenly you're talking about the cat that died yesterday and Granny, lost her panties or whatever's going on, and it becomes either offensive to the people who are actually talking to you, or their eyes glaze over because they're like, you're saying just a bunch of items that really have nothing to do with what the question really is. You have to really think about how to answer the question. Tell me about yourself. One way I always feel like you could do that is start with the present, today, right now. Whenever you're there, start from that moment and work backwards. Tell them why you're well qualified for that position, or that job, or that acting gig, or that whatever it is. You want to tell them why you are well qualified. Remember that the key to all successful interviewing is to match your qualifications to whatever the interviewer is looking for. Let's say that one more time because it's very important. Remember that the key to all successful interviewing is to match your qualifications to what the interviewer is looking for. It's like know your audience. That's what I'll say sometimes. Do some research on the company or look at some of the other products they have. Whatever it is. If it's a certain role, really look at what the role they're looking for and can you deliver and give them what they want. Now, I'm not saying that you may always get the job or get the position, but at least you want to get them thinking, oh, okay, this person might be a good fit. Because this is actually, in other words, you must sell what the buyer is saying. Buyer is buying. So, you want to make sure that when they say I'm looking for a vice president of marketing, you start talking about your marketing experience from your last job and go a little bit backwards. They go, oh, okay, he knows what I'm talking about. And if because you've done some research, that they're big about lifting sales in a particular area of production. Did you have that experience before? Lead with that. My last job, I was the lead in production and blah, 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 blah. Or I increased production in my team, 75% in 6 weeks. Lead with that stuff. Because it speaks directly to them. This is the most single important strategy in job hunting. Know your audience and match your qualifications to what the interviewer is looking for. So before you answer this or any question, it's imperative that you try to uncover your interviewer's greatest need, want, goal, problem. So because like I said, you're trying to do some little research. You want to know what they're looking for. You're trying to figure this out. So number one, as early as you can in the interview, you can always ask for a more complete description of what the position entails. One way of saying that might be, I have a number of accomplishments that I'd like to tell you about, but I want to make sure, make sure that you give us the best use of our time together and talk directly to your needs. I had to swallow. I was like, it's crazy. I'm having some hot chocolate this morning. I got to loosen the throat. Anyway, so to help me do that, this is you're talking to them. To help me do that, could you tell me more about the important priorities of the position? That's one way of saying it, because you're in the interview process. You're showing that you're interested. You're showing that you really want to know what this position is about. And it sounds totally professional. And it sounds like you do have qualifications, but you want to make sure you match them. You can also say, all I know is what I heard from the recruiter or the ad or, the Craigslist ad, whatever it is. You can say, well, I see what you wrote here, but can you expand on that? Totally easy to say that. Then hopefully they'll start to tell you a little more about the position or the job or the role or tell you what's going on. Then you can also always follow up with a second, possibly third question to draw out the needs even more. And again, it shows you're interested. So you're engaging, you're having conversation. People like conversation. It totally works. You could say, in addition to that, you can always say that. Or you can say, is there anything else you see as essential to success in this position? Because you can so basically you're asking a follow-up question kind of to expand on that also. And also what's really great for you is you're getting a clear picture if this job is for you. Because we're always so focused on, I got to get a job. And I totally get it. It's rough out there. It's eat or be eaten. It's rough. You got bills to pay. Some of you have kids. You got things going on. What's great is still try to remember you're trying to find a job that's the best fit for you too. You're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. But of course, you don't come across cocky or selfish, all this kind of stuff to them. They're still interviewing you. But for you, you're interviewing them too. You want to make sure, is this a good fit? Can I really do this job? Do I want to work here? So you want to gather as much information as you can, which is great. So you get a really well-rounded picture. So also why this helps you is if you do get hired for the role, the job, whatever, then you will be the best fit for the job. You will know, you'll make a much better informed decision. You will get there, and totally, if anything comes up, you knew what was going on when you got the job. They know you know. Like nothing, you can't really argue those points. If something comes up, I didn't know that, or I know what's going on. At least you both, the employer, employee, you guys know what's going on when you come in, and it's just better protection for you. Because you can also say things like, "Well, you told me in the interview, blank, 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 blank." So they can't really throw anything. So it's just good kind of backup for you too to kind of find out what's going on. Now, for many of you guys, this process may not feel easy or natural at first, because a lot of times it's easier just to kind of answer questions. And you're like, they ask you a question, you answer. They ask you a question, you answer. It's like it's kind of easy to do. But I like conversational. I used to work in HR. I used to hire and fire people. I used to hire people all the time. In San Francisco, I hired a lot of people for their first jobs. And a lot of the greatest things were we had a conversation. And it showed me that they could work well with others, they could answer questions, but also just like, okay, I can learn a little more about them and their body language and how they say things. And it's just conversational I think is really good. And just yes, no, what do you do this? I mean, just listing stuff. I can read what you've done. I got your resume in front of me. I can read what you did, but I want to talk to you. I think that's, for me, I think it's just a really great thing. And you got to learn how to talk back. If you uncover the employer's wants and needs, your answers will make the most sense. That's a really good one to remember. It's like, because if they tell you what they want and what they need, then you can tailor your answers, if you are the right person for the job, to fit that. And it just makes sense. Again, you're matching the needs of, you're matching your needs to their needs. You're matching your qualifications to what the interviewer is looking for. So that totally, it plays with that. One thing you could do is grab a friend, cousin, husband, whoever you have, partner. Practice asking these key questions before giving your answers. Find somebody to do, almost like running lines. Just kind of do a little practice test, or do it yourself. Look in a mirror and do it yourself. So you can so it makes it more natural, and trust me, you will be light years ahead of other job candidates or people in positions that you're competing with. So I always say you can do it at home by yourself. Grab a friend to say, I need like 10 minutes of your time, and have them. Oh my God, I'm belching. Excuse me. All bubbly today, and just make sure that they just play the role of the employer. Very minimal role. It's all about you, just kind of honing in and crafting those skills of having the conversation when you want to ask questions. So going back to the employer casting person, whoever they're looking for, after uncovering what the employer is looking for, describe why the needs of the job bear striking parallels to tasks you succeeded before. So again, like I said earlier, basically you're matching your needs. So now they told you what they want. You're going to tell them what you've done and why you're good for this job, and that it matches. You're going to match. You're going to connect the dots. You're going to make sure it matches. And make sure, and this is also very important too, have a couple of just specific examples, short and succinct, of course, to the point. You don't want to waste their time. but just have a couple examples in your pocket of your responsibilities and especially your achievements, and when you're describing why you're a good match. Because all of it is just geared to present yourself as the perfect match for what they just described. That's the best thing. Because again, you don't want to ramble on. You don't want to tell too much. You really want to be very specific. Yet conversational, but specific. Say that 5 times fast. Specific in giving them what they want based on your abilities and what they're looking for. So at least if you don't get the job, don't get the position, that's fine. Sometimes they know what they're looking for, but at least they may remember you for something in the future. Or if that person doesn't work out, you could be second one in the command. They're like, we liked him. You only hire one person, so they hire a person that doesn't work out, then they can maybe come back to you. You don't know. Sometimes doors aren't closed completely. That's one of the things about life that I have completely learned. I'm going to say completely 10 times. Completely. They're not completely closed. And I've had jobs where I was told no or sorry or we went with somebody else. And I got a call back and got the job. My business here as an organizer, and other organizers will tell you, there are times you go, you do a consultation. I won't say confrontation. You do a consultation and you completely, it sounds great, and they're not ready yet. Don't kiss them off too soon. Just be like, okay, when you're ready, you'll let me know. You may follow up here and there, but there's times when 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months later, I've gotten a phone call. I'm now ready for you. So doors aren't always completely closed. Just be nice and patient. Move on to the next thing. You did the best you could, and move on to your next thing. Another question on how to answer, because this kind of goes with this one. What are your greatest strengths? That's another one that seems kind of innocent in some way, or like, oh, I know my greatest strengths. I can talk. I'm strong. I'm friendly. I'm this. You have to really think about that before you answer. This question may seem easy. It's not. Because you don't want to come across as egotistical or arrogant. But you also don't want to come across too humble. There's a way of doing that. Or meek either. Because what is your greatest strength? What are your greatest strengths? Because people say you come across too humble. You can come across too humble. Or just kind of be like, well, I didn't, I just did what, everybody else would do. And you start discrediting yourself. And we do things like this. Like we'll be self-deprecating sometimes. I'm just wild today. And you do it, and sometimes you don't even know you're really doing it. And people look at you and go, well, okay, you're nothing. I'm nothing special. I'm a hard worker, but I'm nothing special. I'm a hard worker. You should stop right there. I'm a hard worker, period. When you start adding the, well, but I was in a team, and we all kind of work together. You don't want to downplay yourself. But that's why you want to go in, well, I was the number one salesperson in my company, and I'm the best person for this job because I am the best person. You don't want to do that either. I'm like, that's just, too much. So here's some tips on that. Your key strategy should be first to uncover the interview's wants and needs. We talked about that before. So you're going to try to find out what's going on. So we got all of that going on. So prior to any interview, you should have a list. Now you could write it down because I write everything down. You write it down. You got it mentally in your brain. However you remember stuff. But I suggest writing it down first. You should have a list mentally prepared of your greatest strengths. Have a list. How many should you have? I don't know, 3 or 4, 5 maybe, just to have in there. You should also have a specific example for them. So if you have 5 strengths, kind of have an example for each one. Example or 2. Again, make them short to the point. We don't want to talk for 10 years. You want them tuning out halfway through your story. Just something short to the point, some examples. And examples need to illustrate the strength. Maybe an example could be chosen from your most recent impressive achievements. Again, starting present day, going backwards. So you may say, I'm a team player, I'm trustworthy, I'm non-judgmental, I'm hardworking. We'll just say that, those 4 things. Which I am all those 4 things. What you can do is, from your last couple of jobs, pick out an example from each of those things. You're hardworking. I used to work 17 hours a day, 5 days a week, as an event planner. That's hardworking. I'm trustworthy. I was entrusted in my last job with all the files for all the clients. Like, you just things like that. Just go from your last couple of things, and just kind of go from there. No one cares about in high school you were the best friend to everybody. I ain't been in high school in 28 years, so no one gives two cares about me back in 1987. So you want to start from 2015 and go backwards, and kind of give examples from that. It's a great thing there. So you should have this list of greatest strengths with the corresponding examples from your achievements. Try to have them committed to memory, of course. That's the best thing. You obviously can't bring a paper and read, to them. Oh, I got my greatest strengths in 1 second. This isn't an Oscar speech. This is like you just talking in conversation. So as we're saying, the shorter the stories, the better, too, because you can remember them. Just say something quick. You won't be able to have them in your arsenal to recite at any given moment. There's a thing in my business about... they call it a 30-second elevator statement or hub statement. These things I always say about your business. Like, can you tell us in 30 seconds what you do? What your business stands for. And so I had to write one and be committed to memory to it. And mine is, I'm a professional organizer and certified life coach. I help people and businesses find their own path of success in a unique way. Done. It tells you what I do, right? It tells you what I do. I just name my profession, tells you what I do, and gives you a little bit about me too. I do it in a unique way. So that's a quick statement, and then you go into examples and stuff later. But that's just a quick statement. So you want to have these things when they say, "What are your greatest strengths?" Have your strength. Then have an example. Have a strength. Have an example. Just have them ready for you. So. Once you uncover the greatest, interview's greatest wants and needs, you can choose the achievements that best list up and match up to those needs. There are 10 most desirable traits. I actually looked this up, and this is actually kind of true because I actually, like I said, I used to be an HR person. These are 10 most desirable traits that all employers love to see in their employees. Very interesting. This is general stuff. 1, a proven track record as an achiever, especially if your achievements match up with the employer's greatest wants and needs. 2, intelligence, of course. Management savvy. 3, honesty, integrity, a decent human being. They just want to know you're decent. They just want to know you're going to come to work and not steal from them and be a nice person to people. 4, a good fit with corporate culture. It depends on the job that you're getting into. Someone to feel comfortable with. A team player who meshes well with the interviewer's team. They want team players. They do. When they hire you on, you're not working by yourself, unless you got one of those jobs working by yourself. But chances are you can work with somebody else. Whether it's 2 people, 10 people, 20 people, they want to make sure you don't upset the apple cart. When you get in there, that you'll do fine. That's something that's very important. 5, likability, positive attitude, sense of humor. Now, sense of humor, of course, is subjective. And just be careful with that's a fine line also. They want to know you can laugh. And, you can laugh yourself. You guys know I laugh. You watch any of my shows or listen to this radio program, I laugh all the time. But there's a fine line with that because, of course, depends, know your audience. Dirty jokes, dirty sense of humor also, they might be appropriate for certain venues. But a sense of humor, period, it's just kind of nice to have. You kind of laugh and smile. Positive attitude is always very important. That's my number one thing. Number 6, good communication skills. That's very important, that you be able to talk to people. 7, dedication, willingness to walk the extra mile to achieve excellence. They kind of like that. Number 8, definiteness of purpose, clear goals. And it really depends on some of these jobs where they really want you, there's no goal setting and things going on. They want to make sure you're like, what are you doing? Can you do it? Number 9, and I have this one in spades. Enthusiasm. High level of motivation. Can you guys guess that's me? I don't know. I don't know if Brian gets that to me. I'm always enthusiastic. I don't know if he knows I'm enthusiastic all the time. That's one of my biggest strengths, or greatest. That's biggest. And number 10, confident, healthy, a leader. And healthy, and in this case, healthy meaning like of sound mind and body, so to speak, kind of thing. Like this, like that you have if you have an ego, it's a healthy ego. I mean, if you have intelligence, a healthy amount of intelligence. Like you're just a confident person who's ready to walk in this job or this position and do it. Just like that. And those are 10 things that you can use when you're picking out your greatest strengths. Let me answer that question. So far we've talked about how to tell me about yourself. We're talking about your greatest strengths. We talked about those. When we come back, we're going to talk about what good answers you should have to 5 particular questions. This is Super Organized Universe Radio, and we'll be right back.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. My webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer. I host Super Organizer Universe Radio every Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join me each week as I give you tips on how to organize your life, home life, work life, family. All needs organization, and I'm here to help. Every Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Adrenaline Radio, Super Organizer Universe Radio. Organizing shouldn't be sour. It should be sweet.
You might know me, I'm 50 Cent. You may follow my tweets, my Facebook friends. Odds are a few in 6 degrees separate us. We're that close. What's crazy is 1 in 6 don't know where their next meal is coming from. These are your co-workers, your neighbors, your friends. Hunger's too close for us to ignore. So visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank to see how you can make a difference. From one close friend to another, let's do this. I'm 50 Cent, and together we are Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
It was a clear black night.
What's up? This Warren G, you know what I'm saying? I'm here giving it up for RAD because they do a lot of good things for people. Before you drink, make sure that you got somebody that can drive your butt home so you won't crash or get pulled over and get a DUI. So go ahead and follow the rules and everything will be cool. And don't be no fools. Peace, baby. Warren G.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Time to tune in and log on with Behind the Lens. Join noted film critic Debbie Lynn Elias and a lineup of talented co-hosts and informed guests each week as she goes behind the lens and below the line. We'll take in-depth looks at films and filmmaking with the movers and shakers and up-and-comers of the industry, along with movie reviews, interviews, awards, festival coverage, specialty segments like Tech Talk and Classic Corner. Tune in to Behind the Lens every Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, only on Adrenaline Radio.
Alrighty, we are back to Super Organizer Universe Radio. I am James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer, and we're talking about you. You, and you. That's right, kids. On this Friday 13th. I love Friday 13th. Love it. Okay. So we've talked about answering certain questions in certain situations. One was your greatest strengths. The other one was about yourself. Who are you? And now we're going to go into some more answers to questions you should have. These are just some good things you should just have with you. And again, you can find all these on my blog, the superorganizeruniverse.com, or it'll be posted on my Facebook page, the Super Organizer. So, of course, you should always be prepared and confident when you go into a job interview. Because literally it is your one time to grab their attention so they see that you're the best choice for the position. So I gave you some tips on how, once you get in there, how you should make sure you match your needs to the interviewer and all of that. So that's all you got. You got that part so far. Now here's some other questions they'll probably ask you. Chances are they will ask you that you should have some really good answers to, so that you don't mess that up. Here's one that is always just like the tricky question. Why did you leave your last job? Yeah. So most of the time in my life, I can totally admit this, most of the time in my life, I've left my own, and I actually have never been fired. I've been working since I was 15 years old. I have never been fired. I had one job, went out of business. It was a part-time job. I was a merchandiser at Designer Labels for Less. I don't know if you guys remember that back in the 90s, 2000s. And it went out of business. But I guess I was kind of fired. I mean, I was let go. I mean, we're all let go. The company went out of business. So, I mean, that was the only time. But I've never been fired. I've always been able to leave when I want to. But a couple of those times I left, it wasn't under the greatest circumstances. I will fully admit my last job before I became an organizer, I left under duress, I'll just say that, and anger. And folks who worked with me know that one. And it wasn't, and I probably burned a few bridges, who knows, but I tried not to. But going into another job situation, interview situation, you don't want to you want to phrase it in ways that aren't like that. I would never go to well, yeah, so James, tell me, why'd you leave your last job? I hated those people. They got on my nerves, and I had to quit. They treated me like a slave, and I had to go. So I would never say that. It's like, that kind of doesn't, that's just not really, you don't want to do that. So a suggestion, the way of answering is, never put your former employer or your coworkers in a negative light. Don't blame them for your departure. Give a positive reason, such as you left to take advantage of another opportunity that was better suited for your skills. That sounds way better. What we're trying to say is basically, you chose to leave. I mean, in a way, I mean, if you weren't fired, you left the job. You chose to leave. It was you. You chose to leave. You could have stayed there, obviously, and taken whatever abuse they were giving you. So in a way, you're not lying or anything. You chose to leave because it wasn't working for you anymore. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter what the stuff that went on and what happened. The basic story of this is, you left the job because it didn't serve you anymore. It wasn't working. You didn't like it. Whatever the reason, it didn't serve you anymore. It was time to go to something else. So you can say that. I think it's completely professional to say that. The job stopped serving me. I needed something else. So now I've moved on. That's why I'm here. Just don't worry about the management part. Don't worry about all this stuff. Just say that. And again, you can say, I left to take advantage of another opportunity that was better suited for my skills. That's a good sentence. Yep. Here's another one. Have you had difficulties getting along with supervisors or coworkers? Okay. We ain't all saints. I know that. And I'm a good coworker. I usually get along with everybody, just about, if you can't tell. I usually get along with most people. But I've had a few folks that I didn't get along with. And a few bosses that, we had some words. But I wouldn't say that. I think we all know without saying it, it's an unspoken thing, that sometimes personalities clash with people you work with. It just happens. Oil and water just happens. But I implore you to think carefully before you answer. Just really carefully. Don't go into a lot of details. If you had some problems with the last one, just say, an answer could be, have I had difficulties? Nothing major. I try to get along with everybody. Or everyone, however you want to phrase it. Like nothing major, nothing. There were some, maybe you just don't even say anything. Just like I get along. I just get along with most people. It's fine. Just keep it to that point. Now, chances are they won't ask you, what happened at your last job? What's going on? It's not a gossip session. But don't even need to go, I had these coworkers. They didn't do no work, and they just sat around. You want to do all that. Even if you felt all that, it was all, they got on your nerves, and they ate onion salad while you're trying to work. I mean, whatever. You don't talk about all that. Just say, nothing major, but, usual work stuff, but I get along with everybody, or I try to get along with everybody. Another question people ask nowadays, especially, how do you deal with stress on the job? The employer wants to know if you're going to run out the door when things get stressful, so to speak. I mean, in some cases, like literally run out the door. Ask yourself, this is something for you. How do you handle stress on the job? Like, you're like, am I good? How do I do it? Do you thrive on working with deadlines? Or do you need creative time to function more effectively? Everybody works differently. Like completely, and so it depends on the job you get. Because everybody works differently. You got to really look at that. And make sure, again, because you're finding out the needs of the company. If they're telling you we have a lot of stress, a lot of deadlines, then you have you're trying to match up. Does it match up? Can I handle that? Or if it's a job that's like, we allow you to have, naps during the day, or, we have these, our deadlines are fluid, or we start projects and they go on for a couple of weeks. Then you kind of go, oh, that's more like me. I'm a creative person. I like to take my time. I like to really meditate and think about things. That might be a better job choice for you. So think about how you handle stress and really be honest. I focus on the work I'm doing is one way you can say this. I focus on the work that I'm doing, and I stay calm and centered. It's a good one. I focus on the work that I'm doing, and I stay calm and centered, meaning that you're steady. You're like, whether it's stress or not, deadlines or not, I stay in my lane, I do my work, and I stay calm and I center and I work it out. Now, you have to be honest, because once you get in the job, if you're not that way, it will show. Obviously, it will show. And another question is, do you have any questions for me? Now, they'll ask you that. Somebody will say, usually at the end of the interview, they're like, well, do you have any questions for me? And I'm just like, that doesn't look good. At least have a couple. Have something. You could say, like, because you really want to show them that you researched the company a little bit, or that you're really interested, or you heard the conversation, you had a conversation. And you could ask, one way you could say something like, any questions? Well, how is the staff here, and the way, how is the corporate culture set up here? How's the office culture here? Is one way you can ask a question. If you did some research for the company, you might be able to say, any gossip or anything, just like, so I heard the company just, acquired another company, and so I see you guys are growing. That's why you're hiring. How's it working out for you guys? You can say all kind of stuff. That's just kind of just not anything too serious and heavy, but it's kind of like you're wrapping up the conversation. You say, I had a great time with you today, learning about the company and the position. The only question I would have is, how fast are you getting? Are you just a turnaround to look? When are you going to hire? When are you looking to hire? Is this going to be a quick thing? Little things like that. Just a couple little questions, and then you're ending the conversation. Now, sometimes they'll ask you this question at the very end, or they'll ask you this midway towards the end. Why should we hire you? See, it goes back to the other one of the whole your greatest strength and stuff. It's very similar. Because this is your chance. Again, your one chance to make your impression. And a lot of times, there might be like other people outside the other room waiting. So there might be like 20, 30 people sitting outside. You need to tune them out. This is your chance to tell them why they should hire you. You need to sound confident, calm, especially. You don't want to be too thirsty. You go too hungry. No, we don't like thirst. And employers can see it. Anybody too eager and I'm turned off. I'll tell you right now. When you're too eager, I'm like, okay, have a seat. So you need to be calm. You need to be capable. So you want to sound the 3 C's. You want to sound confident, calm, and capable. Explain how your experience has prepared you for this job or for the role. Emphasize the qualities you think the employer are looking for, because you should know this from the earlier questions. You should know this. Your outstanding work ethic, the fact that you're a fast learner, the fact that you've loved this company for 10 years, you've always wanted to work here, and your reasons why are blank, blank, and blank. You want to give them that quick, succinct, confident answer on why they should hire you. Again, don't be too meek. Don't be too humble. Well, I think you should hire me because, I think I'm good. I think I'm a good, don't do that. I am James Lott Jr. I am a good fit for this company because I have a strong work ethic. I have a strong understanding of what you're looking for, and I believe in your mission. Does that sound good? Don't you want to hire me? Do it, kids. Do it. And that's half the battle. It's sounding confident without sounding cocky. That's right, kids. All right. Here's something that comes up in everything. Social media, especially. Interviews that I do, everything. How to act in the age of too much information. TMI. Oh my cheese and crackers. There's so much people are telling all their business when they shouldn't. This also applies in interviews. Like I said, you don't want to talk too much. You need to really, really watch this. Because you don't want to go in and talk about, well, so yes, I'm good for the job. And then, but last week when I was on my way, I was trying to look up this job, my girlfriend and I broke up and we just, we've been fighting for like 10 years and I don't know what's going on. And my house is a mess and she stole it. Maybe I have bad credit. And you don't want to do all that. And for some people I notice, they feel like that's being real because they're telling you all their business. That's not. We're not friends. We're not buddies. Even if we're friends, I don't hear all that crap most of the time. You want to really come across as somebody who can have some privacy and can delineate between, public and private personas, or someone who can have a work life, personal life. It's okay to blend some of that in certain situations. It really depends. Especially if you work at jobs where you work with people for a long time or long hours, you kind of develop friendships. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. You can have that. But you got to make sure you have that line. My advice to folks is in interviews, short answers, sweet answers, conversational. Stick to the facts. Stick to aiming towards matching your achievements and accomplishments and your skills to what the employer is looking for. You just want to focus on those things. So the fact you live with your brother or that your mom gets on your nerves, that all has nothing to do with nothing. So you gotta really find it. Now, sometimes they want to, you may also read sometimes that they want to know some personal stuff about you. And even with that, I still say be cautious. I like juggling lemons. That's a personal thing, and I think it's something interesting, and that's fine to share. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I like juggling lemons. I play piano a little bit. That's fine to say that. I enjoy watching Real Housewives of Atlanta or something. I mean, like, a few of those things are okay if it's in context. But talking about my baby daddy didn't give me that check last week, that's why I got to get a job. You may think that's being real. And it is real for you. I mean, your personal life is real for you. They don't need to know that. Just say, I have a child. You can just mention that I have a young child that I'm caring for, mainly on my own, and that's why I'm looking for employment to help, supplement my income. That sounds way more professional. That's fine. There's single mothers out there, single fathers out there. I mean, that happens. But talking about baby daddy and his mother is crazy and they're on crack, and we don't need all that. That has nothing to do with nothing. Just, calm all that down. Being real isn't always being overly talkative. You can be real in less than 3 words. Trust me. I know folks who can be real without a word, with a look. It's just very important. You just want to not give too much information. I implore you. Watch your mouth. This is Super Organized Universe Radio. We're going to come back with a couple of last more. Oh, wow. That's some English. Some last tips. And this is Super Organized Universe Radio. I'm James Lott Jr.
Hi, I'm Edward James Olmos. I'm here to talk to you about RAD, Recording Artists, Actors, and Athletes Against Drunk Driving. Think about it. You have choices that you can make in your life. Good choices and bad ones. Drinking and driving, bad choice. Why? The life you may take may even be your own. Think about it. Drinking and driving doesn't mix. Get a designated driver.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
neighbor, getting some sod put in?
Yeah, it's Marathon.
Yeah, that's what I got. But yours looks so much greener and thicker than mine. What's going on? I'm gonna call the growers.
Southland Sod Farms, may I help you?
My Marathon sod doesn't look as good as my neighbor's.
Are you sure yours is Marathon?
That's what I asked for.
Let me do a computer search. We don't have a record of your delivery. You didn't get genuine Marathon sod.
What do you mean?
Sometimes unscrupulous contractors, retailers, and other sod farms lead you to think they're selling Marathon, but then substitute a lesser brand.
That really teased me off. How could I have known I got a cheap imitation?
Look for the bold, genuine Marathon label on the sod pallets when they're delivered.
Don't get cheated. Look for the genuine Marathon sod logo displayed by nurseries and landscape contractors in the yellow pages. Or call 1-800-4-MARATHON for a free do-it-yourself video and authorized dealer list. That's 1-800-4, then Marathon. Or visit the website at www.sod.com.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
We're back in Super Organizer Universe Radio. I'm James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer. And we're talking about you. You, and you. We had some tips today about how to answer certain questions in interviews and casting calls and things. Hopefully you guys take some notes with that and run with that. I really want you guys to get the jobs you want and get the roles you want and get the positions you want. If you are the best for that particular gig, job, thing, I want you to have it. I do. I want you to have it. So you deserve to have the life that you want. You deserve to have a life that runs like a well-oiled machine. I always say that all the time. You should be living a life that works for you and not against you. And we know what it feels like when life seems like it's working against you. And a lot of it is self-made. Yeah, self-made. I invite you to look at all your routines and look at your systems that you have currently in place or lack thereof, right? Are your routines really routines? Do you have systems? These are all really good questions to ask yourself. Because, it's really funny. We go through life. I notice this with my clients, with myself, with anything. We get used to our situations. We just do. We kind of just move right along. We get used to them. But it doesn't mean they're working for us. We're getting used to them, and we're functioning. But it doesn't mean we're functioning to our best potential and they're really working for it. They could be working against you also. You don't really get it yet. Usually after you fix something and make a better system, you're like, oh my God, it's so much easier. I had no idea that was happening. But being organized does take some work. It does. But it doesn't have to mean that suddenly every waking moment, of your life has to be devoted to keeping everything organized and perfect. That's not what I'm saying. We have lives, things go on. But I'm saying just setting up systems and having a place that just work continuously. Let's make it easier. Well, actually, I'll take perfect out of the equation. So there's no such thing as perfect. Let's get rid of that. No perfect. But there are situations and systems you can set up that will really work for you. And you will see the difference. Trust me, people ask me all the time, James, how do you do all the 800 things that you do? And so I tell them, I sleep well. Trust me, I get my sleep. But when I'm awake, I make the most of my wake time. And by making the most of my awake time, I have good time management. Some things don't get done on some things. They get done when they get done. But the things that are timely and that are needed, they get done on time and as needed. It's just saying I have my own system. Again, no one size doesn't fit all. But I have a system that I set up for myself, and I continually set up for myself and modify and edit and change that works for me, that allows me to do creating content for this radio show or writing a blog or researching a guest for a show that I'm doing on AfterBuzz TV, or a client, helping them out with something, going to buy bubble wrap, whatever it is, and then going to the grocery store, cleaning my bathroom. All of it, I have systems set up because there is no perfect way of doing it, but I have things set up, and I know what my boundaries are and limits. I always say to everybody, it's okay to have limitations and boundaries, but know what you can and cannot do. You can't do everything today. You can't do anything tomorrow, so just get out of the way. But there are things you can do. Prioritization, very important. Again, goes with time management, goes with organization. It all really can work. I am proof, kids. It works. It works. So really look at how things are working for you or not. Again, hard part, but be honest with yourself. You owe it to yourself to, be honest with you. You only you got. And if you can't be honest with yourself, then you can't be honest with anybody else. It begins and ends with you, in my opinion. It starts with me. As long as I'm honest with me, and actually I'll tell you, being honest with me makes things easier. When you're fighting against the honesty with yourself, it really makes things hard. Think about it. When you know what's going on and can admit it, that's when the help and the healing begins. It's so true. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I'm not capable of. I know what my sore spots are. I know what my strengths are. I know all that stuff, so it's great. I can work with that stuff. I'm not fighting against it. I'm like, no, I am a strong person. No, I'm not doing all that. I know what I can do and what I can't do. I know what I can do or what I should do. I know it. I'm honest with myself at all times, or most of the time. And I know that because of that, I can effectively work within those parameters and have a really great life. So be honest with yourself. You owe it. Even if you feel like you're doing fine, check-ins are good. Go do a check-in. I do check-ins every once in a while. They can be really useful. You may come across something you're like, oh, I don't like that, or that's going on. Just do a little check-in. It's fine. I think check-ins are great. I've said this once before on the show, and I was going to say it again one more time. I don't know about you guys, but I have voices in my head sometimes. Sometimes they're voices of the past. They're voices, my own voice, could be some anxiety issue or something. And I always try my best to kick them out. And these are some things that I say to myself that really help. And I've said them before on the show, I'm going to say them again because we're talking about you. And these are some things that I really think could help you in affecting change in your life. To yourself, you're saying, I know it's all up to me. Because it really is. No one else can do it for you. It's all up to you. I know that I have to make the decisions. Again, it's your life, your decisions. I know that it all begins with me. It really does begin with you. I can change my mindset. That's very, very important. That you're open to the universe and that you can change your mindset. That you can change it. Nothing's static. It's not all about just you have to be one way for the rest of your life. That you're open to change and you're willing to change to make better decisions for yourself. That's really important. And of course, I can do this. I've had some guests on my shows when I ask the questions, what 2 words you want to take out of your vocabulary, and some of them say can't. But get rid of that word. It's so true. You can do this. Just whatever it is, because you're being honest with yourself still, but you're giving yourself confidence that whatever it is, I'm going to work through it and work above it or work around it or whatever. I'm going to work through it because I can do it. Because your goals get to the other side because you're going to get there. So those are some things for you to think about because it's all about you in a good way. And, of course, you can follow me at Twitter at the Super O or Black Hope LA. You guys have been really great in telling me sharing some of your stories. I'm also on Periscope, James Lott Jr. You guys have been great sharing stories there, too. My blog, superorganizeruniverse.com. And, of course, the website, thesuperorganizer.com. Thank you for joining me this Friday 13th, and I will talk to you next week.